4 channels around which there is movement. Maybe channels that we can claim. What is it like to claim the channel, the road of currency, for the message that we have to proclaim of God's grace and love? Our Peace Camp group began to claim that road. This summer, the Peace Camp raised money, and they gave that money to a church in Brazil that was starting, that we had a connection with, through Claudio Carvalhas, who is a professor at the Louisville Seminary, the church and the community from which he had been a part. And so they claimed that road of currency in order to participate in this bubbling over of our own life and resources. So there is this question, how do we as a community claim the road of currency to be present on, to be life-giving with? We've been met on that road. Covenant Community has been largely supported by the giving of other communities and people. Covenant has, over our 7 years, received over $200,000 from other communities. Some of them here in Louisville, some of them Presbyterian all over the world that participate in starting new churches. We have been met on that road of currency and giving life-giving water. What is your responsibility to that road? Are you participating in it? Are we participating in it? The second road was the road of culture. That there is this culture that begins to bleed over into other countries. And we know that being in America, don't we? About how our culture is being transported all over the world. You can't watch the Olympics and not realize the power that Coke and McDonald's have all over the world. That people know our rock stars and our movie stars. This American culture bubbles over into all of the world. I was down in Quito, Ecuador several years ago in college. And I would tell people I was from Louisville, Kentucky. And you know what their first connection was with me? What? Kentucky Fried Chicken. They had Kentucky Fried Chicken in Quito, and that's the only way they know you're from, they thought that, I of course knew somebody that was related to the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders. But this culture that we live in, the American culture, bleeds over, bubbles over, for good or for bad. How do we, out of another paradigm, claim the culture we live in and affect it with the values of our faith so that it becomes life-giving instead of life-denying in other places in the world? Some alternative narrative to the narrative of consumption and power and greed and stardom and fame. How do we participate in changing our own culture so that it can become life-giving as it bubbles over in all of the world, which it is doing? How do you claim that road? The third road was the road of technology. I don't know if you noticed how I was reading Scripture today. There is information, there is all kind of stuff flowing over this road of technology. And it is a dangerous road, is it not? We've had a lot of discussions about the beauty and also the problem with technology. And yet it is a road maybe the most powerful road that is connecting us globally. I've got this kind of ongoing dialogue with my dad around technology. And can it be used for good? We often get going, and he made the comment several years ago that technology is the furthest thing from intimacy. Technology, the furthest thing from intimacy. And I believe there's some truth there. And yet it is also a path that we have to be on, that's already created. So how do we claim it? How do we claim it and not let it claim us? How do I claim this and not let it claim me? Some of the ways in which we use that, which are great, and I'm not going to be an evangelist for Facebook, and yet I am. I connect with a lot of what's going on in your life because things that happen in your life flash up on my screen every day. And every week I respond in some way to something that's come up because I've seen it flash up on Facebook. You all know a lot about what's going on in my life because of Facebook and the internet. It does keep us connected. A lot of you know that Lori and I are having an argument over the iPhone. Because of Facebook. I've got all kind of pastoral, and y'all are taking sides.
I'm winning.
How do we get on that road in ways that can bear this good news? There is water on all of these roads. There are people on all of these roads who are alone, who are alienated. How do we join them? The fourth road that they talked about was immigration. And we know a lot about that road. Liz Kaysnack, who helped start Covenant, now works with Kentucky Refugee Ministries. And this congregation has helped support many families that have immigrated to Louisville. And we also know ourselves as immigrants. One of the characteristics that they talk about in the changing culture is the difference between a tribal community and an immigrant community. And they say that postmodern young adults are often immigrants. Not from other countries, but we migrate. We move so often. We are transit people. So what does a church look like that has to connect with all of us that are immigrants? Here for a while, gone the next day. What does covenant look like if it claims to be an oasis for those who are just traveling through? Covenant has been a place where a lot of people have come through seminary, come through Louisville, been with us a little while. We have fallen in love with them. We have claimed them. And then we send them into all parts of the world. We are an immigrant people. How can we be community, an oasis, in an immigrant world? So these are the roads. How do we be us and be on the road?